All right, guys, welcome back to SBR. You know, we're here about helping you guys out. We share our picks with you, we share our advice with you, and we also field some questions now and again. And we got a question on our forum last week about, handicapping games for baseball. User Crackerjack said, I quote, "Can't pick worth a shit lately." And he's looking to maybe, find a little shortcut here. He's curious about over-unders, Dave, and, which one's more likely to hit on any given night.
So you can't necessarily bet overs or unders blindly just because, we've seen 3 overs in a row doesn't change the percentages that it's going to be an over or an under the 4th time. I hear people say, oh, it's due for an over, it's due for an under. The saying that I like to go by is the only thing that's due is library books. So I definitely don't like that strategy. I see in the forum people are talking about the martingale system. Well, look, if you've been betting the martingale system with certain teams like the San Francisco Giants, thinking that an under is going to cash, they enter Friday night with 6 consecutive overs. So you're pretty much sweating bullets coming into this game if you're playing the martingale system, hoping that they cash. I saw the Mets a couple weeks ago, 6 straight unders, I believe it was. So it doesn't work like that in baseball. If there ever is some kind of factor, some kind of advantage that lends itself to an over and under early in the season, the odds makers adjust quickly and balance things out. So I don't think there's any shortcut in that regard in terms of betting blindly, just over or under.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Just all these handicapping things, you can't just go in blindly. If a team's won 20 games in a row, it doesn't mean they're going to win 21 just based on the fact that they've won those 20 games. You have to look at so many more things. One of those things, park factor, being a big issue when it comes to over and unders. However, I did notice some trends with teams, at least in of themselves. Just to throw 2 out there, San Diego Padres this season, 61.5% on the over throughout their entire games, and the St. Louis Cardinals, 61.5% on the under. That has a lot to do with pitching, who they're playing against, and where they're playing. But just based on that, you can't just be betting blindly, like you said, right?
No, I don't think so. And I think over the second half of this season, you'll see adjustments being made. Cardinals clearly a dead under bet, so you're going to see a lot of sports books and such adjust their lines lower. Same with the Padres. We came into the season thinking they're going to be their typical under selves. Well, now they're an over team, so you should see some higher totals with that team. I think my piece of advice is that if you're looking for shortcuts, you don't want to handicap the pitchers, you don't want to get into momentum, too much to focus on, too many players, then have a look at the umpires. The umpires can give you a pretty good idea of whether the game will go over or under. You take a look at some of the names I mentioned in the articles. Some of these umpires are dead over bets or dead under bets, and I think that's a better trend to follow. An over umpire is one who will make a smaller strike zone, forces the pitcher into that strike zone, which creates more hittable balls. Smaller strike zone can also lead to more walks, and then you get overs, or at least more base runners, more hits, and usually overs. Opposite is true for unders. So take a look at the umpires if you're looking for shortcuts. I think that's your best bet rather than just blindly betting over every single night and hoping to cash in.
All right, Dave, some pretty solid advice there. Check out his article, which is going to be linked below, to see those names of those umpires for the overs and the unders. I want to thank you for coming on with us today, Dave, and we will catch up with you again next time at sportsbookreview.com.